Today, our topic is what the Stoics believed about happiness. The Stoics were ancient philosophers who lived thousands of years ago, but their ideas about life, happiness, and how to live well are still very useful today. They believed that happiness does not come from outside things like money, fame, or success. Instead, they thought that true happiness comes from inside us, from how we think and how we choose to live our lives. The Stoics believed that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react to those things. This is a very powerful idea because it means that no matter what happens, we always have the power to choose our attitude and our actions. The Stoics believed that the key to happiness is to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. They called this the dichotomy of control. This means that some things are up to us, and some things are not. For example, we cannot control the weather, but we can control whether we carry an umbrella. We cannot control how other people behave, but we can control how we respond to them. By focusing on what we can control, we can live a more peaceful and happy life. The Stoics believed that when we try to control things that are not in our power, we create unnecessary stress and unhappiness for ourselves. Instead, they taught that we should accept the things we cannot change and focus on improving ourselves and our own actions. Another important idea from the Stoics is that we should not let our emotions control us. They believe that emotions like anger, fear, and sadness are caused by our own thoughts and judgments, not by the events themselves. For example, if someone insults us, we might feel angry. But the Stoics would say that the insult itself does not cause the anger. Instead, it is our belief that the insult is important and that we should be upset about it. If we change our thoughts and decide that the insult is not important, then we can avoid feeling angry. This does not mean that we should ignore our emotions or pretend that we do not feel them. Instead, it means that we should understand where our emotions come from and learn to manage them in a healthy way. The Stoics also believed that we should not depend on external things for our happiness. They thought that things like money, power, and fame are not reliable sources of happiness because they can be taken away at any time. Instead, they believed that true happiness comes from living a virtuous life. Virtue for the Stoics means qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. They believed that if we focus on developing these virtues, we can live a good and meaningful life, no matter what happens to us. This is because virtues are things that no one can take away from us. Even if we lose everything else, we can still be wise, courageous, and just. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers was Marcus Aurelius, who was also a Roman emperor. He wrote a book called Meditations, which is full of advice on how to live a good life. In this book, he reminds himself to stay humble, to accept things as they are, and to focus on doing what is right. He writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote shows the core idea of Stoicism, that we should focus on our own thoughts and actions, rather than trying to control the world around us. By doing this, we can find peace and happiness, even in difficult situations. Another important Stoic philosopher was Epictetus, who was born a slave, but later became a teacher. He taught that we should not worry about things that are not in our control. He said, "Some things are in our control, and some things are not. If you want to be happy, focus on what is in your control." This simple advice can help us to stop worrying about things that we cannot change, like the opinions of others or the past. Instead, we can focus on what we can do right now to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. Seneca, another famous Stoic, believed that we should not be afraid of difficult situations. He thought that challenges and hardships are opportunities for us to grow and become stronger. He wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." This means that just like exercise makes our bodies stronger, facing difficulties can make our minds stronger. Instead of avoiding problems, we should face them with courage and learn from them. This way, we can become more resilient and better able to handle whatever life throws at us. The Stoics also believed in the importance of gratitude. They thought that we should be thankful for what we have, rather than always wanting more. They believed that wanting too much can lead to unhappiness, because we will never feel satisfied. Instead, we should appreciate the simple things in life, like our health, our relationships, and the beauty of nature. By practicing gratitude, we can find contentment and peace, even if we do not have everything we want. Another important Stoic idea is that we should live in the present moment. They believed that worrying about the future or regretting the past only causes unnecessary pain. Instead, we should focus on what we are doing right now and make the most of every moment. This does not mean that we should not plan for the future or learn from the past, but it does mean that we should not let our minds be consumed by thoughts of what might happen or what has already happened. By living in the present, we can enjoy life more fully and avoid unnecessary stress. The Stoics also believed in the importance of community and helping others. They thought that we are all connected and that we should treat others with kindness and respect. They believed that by helping others, we can also help ourselves, because it gives our lives meaning and purpose. This idea is still very relevant today. When we focus on helping others, we often find that our own problems seem smaller and that we feel more fulfilled. In conclusion, the Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within. They thought that we should focus on what we can control, manage our emotions, live a virtuous life, and appreciate what we have. They taught us to face challenges with courage, to live in the present moment, and to help others. These ideas are not always easy to follow, but they can help us to live a more peaceful and meaningful life. The Stoics remind us that we have the power to choose how we think and how we act, and that is the key to happiness. By following their advice, we can learn to be content with what we have, to face difficulties with strength, and to find joy in the simple things in life. The wisdom of the Stoics is as valuable today as it was thousands of years ago, and it can help us to navigate the challenges of modern life with grace and resilience.